I am the true heiress who was mistakenly taken away, and on my first day returning to the affluent family, I found myself so anxious that I could scarcely steady my chopsticks in front of a table laden with dishes worth a fortune. The false heiress, Lin Wanner, donned a pink princess gown, delicately holding a glass of red wine as she approached me with an air of feigned vulnerability. Sister, I understand that you are not accustomed to this environment after your return. I shall assist you in the future. Before she could finish her sentence, she carelessly tilted her hand, causing the entire glass of red wine to splash perfectly onto my sole elegant white dress. Instinctively, I rose to my feet, assuring, "It is fine. I will take care of it myself." Yet within, I was frantically raging. "Continue your performance. Such abysmal acting skills are far too talented to be wasted on a mere role in Hengdian. The Oscars owe you a little golden statue." I intended to discreetly withdraw from the scene, but I discovered that at the dining table, my stern elder brother, my charming second brother, the film emperor, my regal mother, and my imposing father, all seemed to be frozen in time, their gazes fixed upon me, brimming with astonishment, disbelief, and perhaps a hint of suppressed amusement. The atmosphere at the dining table was peculiarly strained. Lin Wani evidently sensed the discord. The expression of calculated panic on her delicately painted face had become frozen. Seeking solace, she turned to my parents. "Dad, Mom, I didn't mean it, it was my sister's dress." My mother, Su Wan, an epitome of elegance down to every strand of hair, regarded me as if I were a rare specimen before leisurely addressing Lin Wana. "It's nothing, just a dress. Wang Ma, please take the young lady upstairs to change." The term young lady was enunciated with particular clarity.
Lin Waners Komplexion palet instantane ausli.
I averted my gaze as Wang Ma guided me upstairs. Behind me, my formidable father, Gu Zhengua, emitted a low, resonant cough, followed by my elder brother Gu Chen's cold voice. "Eating is for eating. Do not engage in petty theatrics." My second brother, the acclaimed actor Gu Yi, let out a disdainful chuckle, the sound modest yet akin to a slap echoing in the silent dining room. The little imp within me had already crossed its arms and erupted in laughter. "Ha!
Perfect.
Let her perform. Let her act. Let us see how far she can go." Wang Ma led me into a wardrobe that resembled a football field, gesturing towards rows of pristine haute couture gowns. "Young lady, these have been prepared for you by your parents. Please choose one that you like." As I surveyed the plethora of brand labels, I felt akin to a dirt-ridden dog stumbling into a spider's lair, every breath steeped in an aura of poverty. I feigned modesty, murmuring, "Thank you, Wang Ma. Anyone will suffice." Internally, I scoffed. Heavens, how much must this cost? If I were to don this, I fear not being able to walk a step. What if I accidentally lost a diamond? Would I be left scrubbing toilets for life? No, my humble 100 yuan cotton t-shirt is far more comforting. Just then, my phone chimed. I picked it up to discover a bank notification. "Dear customer, your account ending in 8888 has received a deposit of 1,000,000,000 yuan on March 15th at 2015. Current balance, 1,000,000,532 yuan. My meager 5.32 yuan savings were my last bastion of pride. But what was this long string of zeros? I counted repeatedly. 10 million. Almost immediately, a WeChat message popped up, featuring my elder brother Gu Chen's perpetually icy visage. "Pocket money, spend as you wish. Password, 6/8. I stood there dumbstruck, with a singular thought racing through my mind. Holy moly! Is this what it means for the world of domineering CEOs to collide with reality? To be greeted with a 10 million yuan allowance? Mother, it seems I haven't been welcomed back into a wealthy family, but rather, I've been abducted by money." After changing, I descended the stairs, only to find the dinner gathering had dispersed. Lin Wanner sat on the sofa, her eyes glistening with unshed tears, while my mother, Su Wan, accompanied her, though I sensed my mother's gaze was somewhat detached. Upon seeing me, Lin Wanner immediately rose, timidly uttering, "Sister, I'm sorry. I'll help you clean the dress." I waved my hand dismissively, murmuring, "No need, it's already been discarded." The imp in my mind rolled its eyes. What is there to clean? That cheap chiffon stained with red wine is beyond salvation.
Besides,
what scheme are you concocting that I'm not aware of? You merely wish to soak it in disinfectant and feign innocence upon returning it to me, right? I'm utterly bored with your green tea act. Discarding it was indeed for the best. My mother suddenly interjected, her tone laced with pleasure. Such fabric should never belong in the Gu family. Tomorrow, I'll take you shopping to fill your wardrobe. Lynn Warner's face turned a sickly shade of green. She bit her lip in distress, tears brimming in her eyes, as if they were moments away from cascading down. Oh dear. Here come the tears again. 1, 2, 3. Let them flow. What's wrong? Is the tear faucet malfunctioning today? I was thoroughly entertained when all of a sudden, my second brother Guyi appeared from nowhere, draping his arm over my shoulder, grinning like a sly fox. Come on, Xiaoxi, I'll take you somewhere delightful. Where to? I stammered, a tad anxious. To my private cinema, where I have a few unreleased blockbusters for you to preview, Guyi said, pulling me along without hesitation. As we passed Lin Warner, he paused, casting a sidelong glance at her, a smirk playing on his lips. Take some time to read, learn how to enhance your acting skills. Stop performing those weepy dramas. The audience has grown weary. Lin Warner trembled visibly. The tears she had painstakingly gathered were forcefully retracted. Guyi ushered me into a screening room reminiscent of a grand cinema, and my heart soared with delight. Well played, second brother. Subtle yet impactful. Truly worthy of the title actor extraordinaire. I derate this combat prowess a solid 100. Guyi settled me into my seat, handing me a bucket of popcorn, casually inquiring, Xiaoxi, what do you think of Lin Warner? Here it comes, the dreaded question. I cautiously answered, Warner is quite lovely, very kind. Internally, however, I was shaking my head vigorously. What a load of nonsense. She's a schemer, her intentions as transparent as glass. A complete white lotus. So beneath me that I can't even be bothered to engage in her games. Had I possessed half her talent, I wouldn't have gone hungry at the orphanage for the sake of a chicken leg. Guyi's hand paused mid-motion as he reached for a soda. A flicker of complex emotions crossed his profound gaze, compassion, anger, and a tinge of guilt. He handed me the soda, ruffled my hair, his voice unexpectedly tender. From now on, with me around, no one will dare let you go hungry. Whatever you wish to eat, I'll buy it for you, even if it means procuring every chicken leg in the world. How did our conversation shift from Lin Warner to chicken legs? I glanced at Guyi's strikingly handsome face, which seemed to evoke both admiration and envy. Internally, I mused, though I can't fathom why. My second brother appears especially dashing today. If he were to buy me every chicken leg, burger, fries, and soda in the world, I would gladly pledge my lifelong loyalty. Guyi beamed, his smile radiant and dazzling. It's a deal. 3. Early the next morning, I was jolted awake from a dream of gnawing on chicken legs by Wang Ma's voice. Young lady, the madam requests you to prepare yourself to accompany her to a charity auction shortly. With my hair resembling a bird's nest, I stared in confusion. A charity auction? One of those events on television where the wealthy feign philanthropy while merely showing off their riches? Why on earth would I attend? To serve as a mascot? My mother, Su Wan, entered clad in an elegant Chanel ensemble, gently ruffling my hair. Xiaoxi, are you awake? Quickly change. I have a beautiful dress prepared for you. I gazed at the dress she offered, a light blue fairy gown adorned with delicate diamonds that sparkled in the morning light. It's lovely, but will it be comfortable to wear? I fear with every step, I hear the sound of money clattering to the ground. Su Wan's smile faltered momentarily, then, as if she had made a firm decision, she stated, if you don't like it, we needn't wear it. Choose any t-shirt from your wardrobe that you adore. And I'll wear the same. 30 minutes later, I appeared at the opulent charity auction venue clad in my shirt emblazoned with no more empty promises, while my mother donned a matching shirt declaring the cure for empty promises. Together, we became the most conspicuous oddities in the room. The gazes of the surrounding socialites were akin to those directed at lunatics. I felt so embarrassed that I could have dug a hole to hide in. Goodness. This is sheer humiliation on a grand scale. My mother certainly knows how to indulge her daughter, but isn't this a tad excessive? This isn't just pampering. It's a joint venture into social oblivion. All I want right now is to vanish into the earth. Suwon straightened her back, affectionately linking her arm with mine. Her chin slightly raised, resembling a proud peacock. She whispered in my ear, do not fear. for your mother is here. Should anyone dare to mock my daughter, I shall ensure they can no longer reside in Jiangcheng. Her voice, though soft, was imbued with a potent strength, instantly soothing my heart, which was on the brink of bursting from embarrassment. Oh my, what a divine mother! I am utterly enamored. For her sake, I would willingly endure social death. The corners of Suwon's mouth uncontrollably lifted in a broad smile. The auction commenced, and Lin Wanner arrived alongside my father and elder brother. She donned a pristine white princess dress, her makeup meticulously applied, sitting beside my father like the epitome of a refined lady. Upon seeing my mother and me, a flicker of disdain and triumph flashed in her eyes. Look at her, all puffed up with pride. What's there to be smug about? Just because she dressed decently? She'll have her moment of tears soon enough. As the auction progressed, the host presented a sapphire necklace, allegedly worn by a certain princess. The starting bid was set at 5 million. Lin Wanner immediately excitedly shook my father's arm, exclaiming, "Dad, this necklace is stunning. It would complement Mom's elegance perfectly." My father, Gu Zhengua, a quintessential patriarch, was easily swayed by flattery. He nodded, preparing to raise his paddle. I cast a glance at the necklace, a cold smirk forming within me. What a joke. This piece is merely a high-quality imitation. The genuine article has long been secured by collectors. This sapphire is at best a dyed glass bead, worth no more than $50. Whoever buys this will be a fool. My father's hand hovered in midair, abruptly pausing. He turned his head, scrutinizing the necklace on stage with a piercing gaze, his brows knitting tighter by the second. My elder brother, Gu Chen, adjusted his gold-rimmed glasses, his eyes sharp as knives. Lin Wanner, sensing the shift, urged, "Dad, why aren't you bidding?" Gu Zhangua ignored her, instead whispering to Gu Chen, "You see that thing, right?" Gu Chen scoffed, "It's fake. The cut is rough, and the fire is off. Even I, an amateur,
Can tell."
Their hushed conversation, though low, was audible enough for several nearby tables to overhear. In an instant, all eyes were drawn to the necklace, whispers erupting around the room. The host began to sweat, awkwardly standing on stage. Lin Wanner's face fluctuated between crimson and pale, a spectacle to behold. She likely never imagined that her carefully chosen gift, meant to curry favor with my parents, was a counterfeit. Ha ha ha. What a grand miscalculation. This is too amusing.
Lin Wanner.
Does your face hurt? Trying to flatter only to step on a landmine? This is what they call losing the hen while trying to steal the rice. My mother, Su Wan, elegantly lifted her teacup, gently blowing on it, then let out a soft laugh. With her laughter, the entire room fell silent. All eyes were on our peculiar family. Even my father, surprisingly, curled his lips in a slight smile, his gaze towards me filled with approval. 4. The charity auction concluded on an unsatisfactory note. The atmosphere in the car on the way back was rather peculiar. My mother, my brother, and I shared one vehicle, while my father and Lin Wanner occupied another. Through the window, I could almost envision the oppressive atmosphere within the other car. My brother, Gu Chen, suddenly spoke up. "Xiao Shi, how did you discern that necklace was fake?" My heart skipped a beat. How could I tell? I was just guessing. Who knew my father and brother would also think it was fake? Is this what they call bloodline pressure? Do we all share the same treasure-identifying skills? I feigned ignorance, replying, "I don't know. I just thought it was unattractive." Gu Chen adjusted his glasses, casting a knowing glance at me without pressing further. My mother, however, was quite pleased, grasping my hand and saying, "Our Xiao Shi has such discerning taste. That gaudy object truly deserves no place beside me. The cultural shirt my daughter gifted me is the most beautiful." Mom, please don't mention that cultural shirt. I am on the verge of cringing. Gu Chen's lips twitched slightly. My mother, seemingly oblivious, excitedly began planning. "Tomorrow we shall go horseback riding at the racetrack in the south of the city. The day after we'll go soak in hot springs, and the day after that we shall listening to her itinerary." My head began to throb. Help. Are these activities reserved for the wealthy? I just want to lie at home, scrolling through my phone. Horseback riding? I can't even ride a bicycle. Soaking in hot springs? Being in a pool with strangers makes me uncomfortable. Ahem. Gu Chen cleared his throat, interrupting my mother. "Mom, Xiao Shi has just returned. Let her rest for a few days and acclimatize to her surroundings." There will be plenty of time for such activities later. My mother pondered for a moment, then nodded. You're right. I was too hasty. So, Xiaoxi, what would you like to do? Tell your mother, and she will accompany you. I cautiously probed. Can I just stay home? Please, let me be a happy homebody. With Wi-Fi, air conditioning, and takeout, I could stay here forever. Of course. My mother readily agreed. If you wish to stay home, then we shall go nowhere. Wang Ma, replace all the snacks and fruits at home with Xiao Shi's favorites. And upgrade the computer in her room to the highest configuration. Also, purchase the latest gaming console. My brother, Gu Chun, added, and install a dedicated gigabit fiber optic line. I was on the verge of fainting from joy. What a divine family. Did I save the galaxy in my past life?
5.
I spent 3 days as a sloth at the Gu household. During this time, my father, mother, and brother indulged my every whim. I could request stars without settling for the moon. Meanwhile, Lin Wanner seemed to have been cast into the cold palace, only appearing during meals, retreating to her room at all other times, presumably engaged in some odd activities. I relished the tranquility. Each day, I awoke naturally, feasting on meals prepared by top chefs, gaming on a high-end computer, living a life akin to that of a deity. One afternoon, as I was immersed in a game, headphones on and slaying foes, my second brother, Gu Yi, suddenly pushed the door open. Dressed in casual attire, a baseball cap, and a mask, he entered stealthily, like a spy. Xiaoxi, tidy up. I'm taking you out. I removed my headphones, bewildered. Where to? Wait, I'm right in the middle of a game. The opposing team is trapped in their fountain, and I'm about to achieve a pentacle. Gui glanced at my computer screen, raising an eyebrow. What is the point of a pentacle? Don't you want to be on television? There's a fashion gala tonight with many celebrities attending. I'm taking you to broaden your horizons and walk the red carpet. Walk the red carpet. You mean that event where female celebrities compete in dazzling attire, shivering in the cold while maintaining smiles? I shook my head vehemently. Second brother, I can't go. I'm scared. Gui removed his mask, revealing a stunningly handsome face, and coaxed, what is there to fear? I'll be there with you. Besides, don't you want to see what those stars you only see on TV look like in person? I do, but I'm more terrified of embarrassing myself on television. What if I trip or fall flat on my face? That would be mortifying on a national scale. Gui's expression darkened slightly as he leaned closer. Lowering his voice, I've heard that Lin Wanner will be attending tonight as well. I froze. How is she going? She pleaded with Dad for a long time, and he eventually relented, having my brother arrange an invitation for her. Gui's tone dripped with disdain. She even spent a fortune renting a couture gown and hired the best stylist, evidently hoping to make a splash at the gala and recover her lost face from a few days ago. I understood. Lin Wanner intended to leverage her status as a foster daughter of the Gu family to gain attention in the fashion world. Such grand ambition. However, with her meager standing, her presence would be of little value. Undoubtedly, there will be a flurry of press releases, overshadowing numerous female stars, tarnishing the reputation of the Gu family. A wave of displeasure washed over me. How could she utilize the Gu family's resources to pave her own path? Gui, observing the shifts in my expression, chuckled. What do you think? Are you curious to witness her embarrassment? My interest was piqued. Absolutely. I am eager to see this spectacle. Such a delightful opportunity to witness someone make a fool of themselves cannot exclude me. I not only want to attend, I wish to occupy the front row with popcorn in hand. Splendid. I leaped from my gaming chair. Gui snapped his fingers in satisfaction. That's the spirit. The styling team is already waiting downstairs, ensuring you will be the most radiant one present. An hour later, I gazed into the mirror at a girl who was both unfamiliar and stunning, utterly astounded. Clad in a floor-length gown of starry blue, my skin appeared fair as snow. Adorned with a dazzling diamond necklace, my hair was elegantly styled into an updo, revealing my graceful swan-like neck.
Wow.
Is that truly me? This beauty-enhancing effect surpasses any photo editing software. Is my brother's styling team composed of divine beings? How much do they charge for a single session? Will my 1 million in pocket money suffice? Gui approached, naturally extending his arm in an inviting gesture. My little princess, are you ready to dazzle the crowd? I took a deep breath and placed my hand in the crook of his arm. Let us go. For the sake of witnessing Lin Wanner's misfortune, I am all in. The red carpet of the fashion gala resembled a battlefield. The flash of cameras was incessant, nearly blinding. I trailed behind Guyi, my palms clammy with anxiety. As the top-tier film emperor, his entrance elicited deafening screams that threatened to lift the roof.
Ah, Guye.
Look over here. You're so handsome. I want to have your children. I was nearly overwhelmed by the fervor of the crowd. Goodness. These fans are utterly wild. What does having children even mean? Are today's young women so unabashed? Sensing my tension, Guyi murmured reassuringly, "Fear not. Just follow my lead and regard them as mere vegetables." I nodded, striving to maintain a composed expression. Just then, I spotted Lin Wanner ahead of us. She was adorned in a striking red gown, its lengthy train swaying gracefully as she walked, undeniably captivating. Beside her stood a rather effeminate young man, seemingly a fresh face in the industry. She posed for the cameras, striking various self-indulgent poses. Tisk, TSK, TSK, look at her trying so hard, as if she fears others won't notice her desire for fame. Alas, her temperament fails to match her attire. Even in a dragon robe, she wouldn't resemble a prince. That red dress exudes a strong studio vibe. As if to validate my thoughts, Lin Wanner suddenly stumbled, her high heel inadvertently stepping on her own gown's hem. With a ripping sound, the expensive fabric tore, exposing a long gash. Lin Wanner let out a shriek, careening forward in a most undignified manner. Fortunately, her companion reacted swiftly, catching her before she could embarrass herself further. Yet, the torn gown and her panicked expression were captured by countless cameras. The crowd erupted in a chorus of gasps. I struggled to stifle a laugh. Ha!
Instant karma.
Swift as ever. Let her be arrogant. Let her don such a lengthy gown. Well, she may not have achieved a stunning entrance, but she certainly made a shocking exit. Guyi chuckled softly in my ear. See? I told you it would be entertaining. Lin Wanner's face flushed a deep shade of crimson, her eyes narrowing menacingly at her companion as if blaming him for not supporting her better. The young man appeared utterly innocent. With the assistance of staff, Lin Wanner managed to fix her torn gown and, with a pale face, hurriedly completed her walk down the red carpet. Following Guyi into the venue, my spirit soared. This evening is worth every moment. We settled into the front row, surrounded by stars and titans of the fashion world. Many approached Guyi to greet him, casting curious glances my way upon noticing my presence. Guyi graciously introduced me. This is my sister, Lin Shi.
So,
The illustrious Gu Emperor has a sister. She is certainly exquisite. Miss Gu possesses remarkable grace. Flattered, yet slightly embarrassed, I maintained a polite smile, albeit tinged with awkwardness. Enough with the compliments. I'm merely an ordinary spectator here. My elegance is merely a product of wealth. Without makeup, would you still find me appealing? Guyi stifled a laugh, patting the back of my hand. Lin Wanner sat further back, her gaze fixated on us, filled with venom. I could sense that piercing stare, akin to a knife, relentlessly stabbing at me. What are you staring at? Keep it up and I might just pluck your eyes out. If you have the capability, why not sit in the front row? Oh, right, you lack the clout for that. The ceremony commenced, with awards being presented one after another. I found myself drifting into a stupor. I could hardly muster interest in such superficiality. During intermission, Guyi stepped backstage to prepare for his award presentation, leaving me alone to scroll through my phone. A man clad in a suit, exuding an air of pretentiousness, approached me with a glass in hand. Good evening, beautiful lady. Are you here alone? I am Zhang Yang, the vice president of Xingyao Media. He handed me a business card, his smile oozing insincerity. I frowned slightly. Xingyao Media? ISNT, that the company notorious for promoting newcomers through scandal and hype? This Zhang Yang seems far from trustworthy. His eyes skinned me as if equipped with X-ray vision, almost undressing me with his gaze. I declined his card, replying coolly, I am not alone. Zhang Yang, undeterred by my rejection, continued, with such exceptional poise, have you considered a career in entertainment? Our company can provide you with the finest resources, ensuring your ascent to stardom. Oh please, do you think I'm a child? Are you trying to lure me with empty promises? Your so-called resources are nothing more than wine and underhanded deals.
dream on.
Just as I was about to tell him off, a clear, resonant voice interjected beside me. Vice President Zhang, Are you attempting to recruit talent on Gu family turf? Isn't that rather improper? I turned to find Gu Chen standing beside me, his expression dark enough to draw water. A similarly charismatic young man stood behind him, exuding an aura of authority, his eyes regarding me with intrigue and interest. Oh my, what brings my brother here? Isn't he averse to such gatherings? And who is this handsome gentleman beside him? His looks rival even my brother's. Zhang Yang's oily smile froze upon seeing Gu Chen, and he began to tremble visibly. I wasn't aware this was your guest. Now you know. Gu Chen shot him a cold glance. Understood, understood. Zhang Yang nodded fervently. Then why are you still here? Yes, I'll leave at once. Zhang Yang hurriedly retreated. Gu Chen then turned his attention to me, his gaze softening. You weren't frightened, were you? I shook my head. The handsome man beside him approached, extending his hand with a perfectly timed smile. Hello, Miss Lin Shi. I am Shen Yuding from the Shun Group. Shen Yuding? The Shun Group? The prestigious family that stands shoulder to shoulder with the Gu family? So, he is the legendary heir? Handsome, well-bred, and so polite, he is the quintessential male lead. I found myself somewhat taken aback and hastily extended my hand to shake his. Hello, Mr. Shen. His palm was warm and dry, and when he grasped my hand, it was a gentle touch, fleeting as it was. Just call me Yuding, he replied with a smile. I've long heard of the Gu family's reunion with their long-lost gem. And seeing you today, it is indeed, as the rumors suggest. Flattery within the business realm. How delightful. Nonetheless, being praised by such a handsome gentleman does bring a small thrill. Gu Chen, seated beside us, cleared his throat, interrupting our amicable exchange. What brings you here? Shen Yuding shrugged. With both of the Gu siblings present at such a grand occasion, I naturally felt compelled to join in the festivities and, incidentally, assess what my future collaborator is like. His gaze remained fixed upon me, rendering me somewhat uneasy. A future collaborator? With me? What could we possibly collaborate on? Perhaps a culinary adventure across the globe? Shen Yuding seemed amused by my internal monologue, the smile at the corners of his mouth deepening. The latter half of the event was spent in an atmosphere of acute discomfort. My elder brother Gu Chen and Shen Yuding flanked me, two imposing figures who resembled sentinels, effectively barring anyone who dared approach within 3 meters. I felt as if I were perched upon pins and needles. Help! Did these two conspire together? One an icy mountain, the other a smiling tiger. Do they wish to freeze me to death or make me laugh myself to death? I merely wished to quietly observe the spectacle as an unnoticed bystander. Gu Chen's expression remained stoic, yet his timely gesture of offering me water was appreciated. Shen Yuding occasionally turned to engage me in trivial conversation, inquiring about my thoughts on the performances or which celebrity I favored. I could only respond with forced composure. Finally, we managed to endure until the conclusion of the gala, at which point Gu Yi returned after receiving his award. Upon noticing the two men beside me, he raised an eyebrow. Oh, what occasion warrants the presence of these two esteemed gentlemen? Gu Chen shot him a glare. And you dared ask? Bringing Xiao Shi to such an event without ensuring her safety? Gu Yi laughed nonchalantly. But you and young Master Shen are here, aren't you? More reliable than 10 bodyguards. He then turned his gaze to Shen Yuding, a flicker of wariness in his eyes. What a coincidence, young Master Shen. Shen Yuding rose, adjusting the hem of his suit, his smile impeccable. Coincidence? I came specifically for Miss Lin Shi. At this declaration, the expressions of the Gu brothers darkened simultaneously. It felt as if the air crackled with tension. Sandwiched between them, I felt as though I might suffocate. Is this truly happening? What did I do to deserve this? And Shen Yuding, could you be any more ambiguous? What does it mean that you came specifically for me? We are meeting for the very first time today. It sounds as if we share some clandestine relationship. Shen Yuding appeared quite pleased with the effect he had created, winking at me with a knowing smile before turning and departing with effortless grace. The Gu brothers regarded me with penetrating gazes, as if demanding an explanation. I am more wronged than Do-yi. On the journey home, I found myself besieged by the Gu brothers, subjected to a rigorous interrogation. Xiao Shi. How do you know Shen Yuding? My elder brother Gu Chen initiated. I don't know him. Today is our first meeting, I replied honestly. I wish I could know him, but he is a prince, and I am but a wildflower lost in a world, a relationship utterly unattainable. And he was so attentive on your first encounter? Guya's tone dripped with sarcasm.
What does he want?
Is he attempting to undermine our Gu family? Undermine? You're overthinking it, second brother. Perhaps he was merely being polite, engaging in idle pleasantries. Besides, what is there to undermine about my side of the family? It's as unremarkable as dirt. Gu Qin pondered for a moment before declaring, Shen Yuding is a man of considerable depth. He does not act without purpose. If he approaches you, it is surely for a reason. Xiao Shi, keep your distance from him. Gu Yi concurred. Indeed. No one named Shen is trustworthy, particularly Shen Yuding. Despite his charming facade, he harbors ulterior motives. Do not be deceived. Listening to their tirades against Shen Yuding, I couldn't help but stifle a laugh. Are these two united in their stance? They seem to be guarding against him, as if he were a thief. Yet their concern for me brings a certain joy. It seemed they sensed my fleeting amusement, for the atmosphere in the car lightened considerably. Gu Qin sighed, his tone softening. We do not wish to interfere with your friendships. We merely fear for your well-being. You have just returned and are unfamiliar with the people and affairs of Jiangcheng. The world can be treacherous, and one must remain vigilant. Gu Yi also dropped his flippant demeanor, speaking earnestly. Xiao Shi, regardless of what transpires, always remember that your brothers will stand by your side, protecting you. A warm wave surged through me. Growing up, I had navigated life alone, never having heard such words spoken to me. My nose tinged with emotion, and my eyes felt warm. Oh dear, how moving! What extraordinary brothers! The nation owes me one such brother. No, now I have two. I fought to hold back tears, sniffling softly. Thank you, elder brother. Thank you, second brother. Gu Qin and Gu Yi exchanged glances, each reflecting mutual amusement and concern. Upon arriving home, it was already quite late. The living room was dimly lit by a single wall lamp, and to my surprise, my parents were still awake, seated on the sofa awaiting our return. Lin Wanner was also present, having changed out of her tattered gown into a modest nightgown, her face devoid of color, appearing rather pitiful. Upon our entrance, she immediately stood, directing her first words at me. Sister, where have you been? Why did you return so late? Mom and Dad were worried sick about you. Her words suggested that I was an irresponsible girl, roaming freely without regard. Here we go again, with that insufferable green tea act. Why should it concern you where I go and with whom? Are you the police of the Pacific Ocean? What a busybody. Before I could respond, my mother, Su Wan, furrowed her brow. Xiao Shi was out with her brothers. What is there to worry about? As for you, Wanner, weren't you told to rest early? Why are you still here? Lin Wanner was momentarily silenced, her eyes welling up again. I was just worried about my sister. And I care about Mom and Dad too. My father, Gu Zhenghua, set down his newspaper, speaking sternly. Enough, everyone is back. It's time to rest. His gaze lingered on me for a moment before shifting to Lin Wanner, his tone carrying an unmistakable authority. Wanner, from now on, without my permission, you are not to attend any commercial events. The Gu family's reputation is not for you to tarnish. Lin Wanner's body jolted, her complexion turning as pale as a sheet. She likely thought that as long as she kept her missteps under wraps, my father would remain oblivious. Unfortunately, she underestimated the Gu family's influence and overestimated her own intelligence. Ha ha ha, what a satisfying turn of events. Let her continue her antics. She wanted fame, and now look where it has landed her, grounded. My father is magnificent. Well done. Gu Zhenghua seemed to catch my unspoken thoughts, the corners of his mouth curling slightly. He stood and approached me, his hand reaching out as if to pat my head, but halfway through, he withdrew, instead speaking in a gentle tone. Xiao Shi, you must be tired. Go upstairs and rest. I nodded and hurriedly ascended the stairs. Lying on the soft bed, I reflected on the night's events, feeling as if I had been swept into a dream. From a wildflower struggling to survive in an orphanage to now being cherished like a princess by my family. This feeling was foreign yet intoxicating. However, what could Shen Yuding possibly want? With this question lingering in my mind, I drifted into a deep slumber. The following day, I achieved sudden fame at school. My identity as the sister of the renowned film emperor Gu Yi and the domineering CEO Gu Qin spread throughout Jiangcheng University like wildfire, as if I had sprouted wings overnight. Upon entering the campus, I was met with countless gazes, some filled with envy, others with jealousy, and many tinged with curiosity. Bearing the weight of these stares, I steeled myself and made my way to the classroom. My social anxiety is through the roof. With so many eyes on me, I feel like a naked monkey. Had I known, I would have stayed home lounging around instead. Just as I was preparing to hasten my escape, a girl blocked my path. She was heavily made up and donned in designer attire, her gaze toward me brimming with hostility. "Are you Lin Shi?" I nodded. "I heard you're the legitimate daughter of the Gu family, just reclaimed?" She scrutinized me with disdain, her tone dripping with contempt, dressed so shabbily. "You hardly resemble a lady of a wealthy family, more like a bumpkin from the countryside." The cultural shirt I wore, emblazoned with a no expectation slogan, took another hit. "What I wear is none of your business. Did I eat your family's rice? Mind your own affairs. And by the way, your eyeliner nearly reaches your temples. And your lipstick looks like you've just feasted on a dead child. How do you consider yourself any better?" The girl was visibly flustered by my unspoken retorts. Her face paling, yet she seemed oblivious to the source of her discomfort and could only unleash her ire upon me. A country bumpkin is just a country bumpkin, utterly lacking in manners. She raised her voice, drawing a crowd around us. "What? Did I hit a nerve, making you angry?" She laughed triumphantly. "Let me tell you, even if you are the legitimate daughter, it changes nothing. In our hearts, Wanner is the one and only Gu family heiress. You, a latecomer, have no right to take anything from her." It became apparent that she was a rabid fan of Lin Wanner, here to defend her. "A brain is a wonderful thing, but sadly you lack one. What kind of potion did Lin Wanner feed you to make you so blindly devoted to her? Taking from her? Please. Those things were mine to begin with. It was she who stole my 18 years of life." My heartfelt denunciation evidently had a substantial impact, for I spotted my elder brother Gu Qin and my second brother Gu Yi approaching, their expressions dark. Behind them trailed the principal and several school officials. The scene resembled a high-ranking inspection. What the hell? Why are they here? And with so many people, are they going to hold a struggle session for me? Gu Chun and Gu Yi strode through the crowd and stood before me. Gu Chun first checked to ensure I was unharmed, then turned his cold gaze on the instigating girl. "What did you just say?"
Repeat that.
The girl trembled at the sight of Gu Chen, her legs turning to jelly. She stammered, "I didn't say anything." "Didn't say anything?" Gu Yi sneered, removing his sunglasses, his handsome face shadowed with frost. "The clothes my sister wears were chosen by me. Do you have an issue with that? The upbringing of my sister is a matter of the Gu family. What gives you the right to interject here?" The aura of the film emperor was fully unleashed, and the girl broke down in tears on the spot. The principal hurried forward to mediate. Mr. Gu Yi, it's all a misunderstanding. Classmate Wang Qian is young and lacks understanding. I will have her apologize to classmate Lin Shi." He shoved the girl named Wang Qian forward. "Quick. Apologize to classmate Lin Shi." Wang Qian, sobbing, bowed deeply. "I'm sorry, classmate Lin Shi. I was wrong." I regarded her with little emotion. What good does an apology do? What I desire is for her to vanish from my sight. Keeping such a brainless individual around is merely polluting the air. Gu Chun, seemingly my heart's spokesperson, said to the principal with an impassive expression, "I do not wish to see this person at Jiangcheng University again." The principal wiped the sweat from his brow, nodding repeatedly. Yes, I'll handle it immediately." Upon hearing she was to be expelled, Wang Qian wept even harder, collapsing to the ground. The surrounding students gasped, their gazes shifting from amusement to reverence. Is she really getting expelled? Isn't that a bit harsh? But how satisfying. Gu Chun ruffled my hair, his tone a mix of exasperation and affection. "If anyone ever bullies you again, just give me a call. Don't keep it to yourself." Gu Yi added, "Exactly. Or call me, and I'll ensure they question their very existence." I looked at my two brothers standing up for me, a warm feeling blossoming in my heart. Having brothers feels wonderful. The news of Wang Qian's expulsion quickly spread throughout the school. From that day forward, no one dared to confront me openly. However, the clandestine machinations never ceased. An anonymous post appeared on the school forum, titled "Unmasking the Usurper of the True Heiress, Deep Schemes and Ruthless Tactics." Even her biological sister's friends are not spared. The post portrayed me as a malicious woman from the countryside, resorting to underhanded methods to suppress the false heiress in a bid for family fortune. It even included a photo of Wang Qian sobbing on the ground during her expulsion. juxtaposed with my indifferent stance nearby. The poster clearly knew how to stir the pot, as the majority of comments below were derogatory towards me.
See?
A wild girl raised outside can't have a good heart. Poor Warner, having such a sister is truly a stroke of bad luck. Just because she has some filthy money, she acts as she pleases. Such a person is the most disgusting. My anger boiled as I read these comments. Nonsense. It's all nonsense. This post is undoubtedly the handiwork of Lynn Warner. Who else would have the time to fabricate such a mountain of lies to slander me? And as for her biological sister as friend, someone like Wang Qian hardly qualifies to be her friend. She is merely a pet dog in Warner's care. Fueled by anger, I wanted to confront them, but my account level was too low to even post a reply. This infuriates me. Do these people have no eyes? Can't they see the truth? They only know how to follow the crowd and hate. Once I reach level 3, I'll tear you all apart. Just as I was stewing in frustration in front of my computer, my second brother Guyi called. Xiaoxi, don't pay attention to the forum posts. They only ruin your mood. I've already taken care of it. I paused, quickly refreshing the forum page. Indeed, the post slandering me had vanished without a trace. In its place was a pinned announcement titled, Official Statement, Clarification Regarding the Expulsion of Classmate Wang Qian and False Claims on the Internet. The poster was the official account of Jiangcheng University. The statement detailed that Wang Qian had been expelled for repeatedly provoking trouble on campus and bullying classmates, supported by surveillance videos of her previous harassment. It also sternly warned those spreading rumors online that the school reserved the right to pursue legal action against them. But that wasn't all. At the end of the statement was a lawyer's letter, and the defendant was none other than Lin Warner. What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? My brother is amazing. This operation is too clever. Directly cutting off the source, having the school clarify, and casually sending a lawyer's letter to Lin Warner. Such a psychological blow. Let us see how she continues her facade of being a pure white lotus. I rolled on my bed in excitement. On the other end of the line, Guyi's triumphant laughter rang out. So, what do you think? How's this operation of mine? Amazing. Simply amazing. I exclaimed sincerely. Want to see something even more thrilling? Absolutely. Then come downstairs to the living room now. Confused, I rushed down the stairs to find Lin Warner kneeling before my parents, tears streaming down her face. In her hand was her phone, the screen displaying that very lawyer's letter. Dad, Mom, it's not my fault. I didn't post anything online to slander my sister. You have to believe me. My mother, Su Wan, wore a stern expression as she slammed a stack of printed documents onto the table before her. Not your concern? Then what is this? The IP address of the posts was traced back to our home. That anonymous account was registered using your spare phone number. Lin Warner, do you think we are fools? Lin Warner stared at the evidence in shock. She could scarcely fathom that we had managed to uncover so much in such a short span of time. Haha, the evidence is irrefutable. Let us see how you will wriggle out of this. Go on, cry. I'm curious to see how many pounds of tears you can shed today. My father, Gu Xingua, wore a grim countenance as he regarded Lin Warner. Disappointment etched in his gaze. I once believed that you were merely spoiled and had some minor quirks. I never anticipated that your heart could be so malicious. Xiaoxi is your biological sister. How could you treat her this way? I didn't. Lin Warner continued to struggle desperately. I didn't mean to. I was just so afraid. I feared that when my sister returned, you would no longer want me. She began to feign misery, hoping to elicit sympathy. Here we go again, how amusing. Fear? Does fear justify thievery, stealing someone else's life? Does fear excuse becoming a keyboard warrior, wantonly slandering others online? What kind of thuggish logic is this? My heartfelt words extinguished the last flicker of compassion in my parents' hearts like a bucket of cold water. My mother rose to her feet, looking down at her coldly. From today onwards, you will move to the guest room. Anything that belongs to you in this house, I will have packed up and sent back to where you belong. Our Gu family cannot afford a daughter as cunning as you. Lin Warner completely broke down.
No.
Mother, I was wrong. Please don't send me away. I truly realized my mistakes. She attempted to cling to my mother's leg, only to be repulsed by my mother's disdain. Shifting her plea to my father, she crawled toward him in tears. Father, you love me the most. Please plead with Mother on my behalf. My father closed his eyes. Weariness etched into his features. It's too late. Wanner, you have disappointed us beyond measure. Lin Wano collapsed to the floor, her face ashen. I stood at the top of the stairs, observing the scene with cold detachment, yet my heart was not as relieved as I had imagined. Instead, I felt an unsettling emptiness. Is this how it ends? She stole 18 years of my life. And her punishment is merely being expelled from the master bedroom to the guest room? This punishment is far too lenient.
12.
My heartfelt words pierced the hearts of everyone in the Goof family like a needle. Indeed, this punishment was far too lenient. The atmosphere in the living room plunged to a new low. My father opened his eyes, gazing deeply at the crumpled Lin Wanner on the floor, and slowly spoke. Your mother is right. The Goof family can no longer support you. Lin Wanner abruptly lifted her head, terror flooding her eyes. Father, what do you mean? I have already dispatched someone to locate your biological parents. Gu Zhanguo's voice was devoid of warmth. Once found, you will return to where you truly belong. These words struck Lin Wanner like a bolt from the blue, rendering her utterly speechless. No, I don't want to. I refuse to leave the Gu family. I am a daughter of the Gu family. She shrieked in a frenzy. My mother scoffed. You carry the surname Lin. We are the Gu family. How can you claim to be one of us? It was then that Lin Wanner realized her fate was sealed. She had plummeted from heaven to hell. Her eyes, filled with resentment, locked onto me as if I were her sworn enemy. It's you. It's all your fault.
Lin Shi.
You jinx. Why did you have to come back? Why don't you just die? She lunged at me in a frenzy, attempting to claw my face. Startled, I stepped back, while my older brother and second brother rushed to my side, positioning themselves protectively in front of me. Gu Chen seized Lin Wanu's wrist with such force that it nearly crushed her bones. Lin Wanner, if you dare to lay a finger on Lin Shi, I will ensure that you regret ever coming into this world. His voice was colder than the Siberian winds. Gu Yi also shielded me, glaring fiercely at Lin Wanner. Mildo, get her out of here. She's a nuisance. Aunt Wang and several bodyguards hurried forward, dragging the flailing Lin Wanu away. Finally, the living room returned to silence. My mother approached and embraced me tightly, her voice choked with emotion. Xiaoxi, I'm sorry. It's my fault. I let you suffer. My father joined us, his usually stern demeanor softened, his eyes slightly reddened. Child, you've endured so much these years. Sandwiched between them, I felt the warmth of their delayed affection, and tears streamed down my face uncontrollably. I was not crying out of sorrow, but rather because I had finally found a home. 13. Lin Wanner was confined to the guest room, awaiting her fate. The Gu family operated with remarkable efficiency. Within 3 days, they located her biological parents. They were a couple living in a makeshift community, surviving on odd jobs. They were inveterate gamblers, lazy and gluttonous. Years ago, after Lin Wanu's mother gave birth to her in the hospital, she noticed that Su Wan in the adjacent room was the wife of a wealthy man and concocted a nefarious plan, switching the 2 children when the nurse was distracted. The truth was unveiled. My parents summoned the couple to the Gu residence. Upon seeing Lin Wanner and realizing they had such a wealthy daughter, their eyes gleamed like flies drawn to blood. They immediately attempted to extort my parents for 10 million in emotional damages.
Lin Wanner gaze the her disreputable biological parents.
Despair consuming her, she pleaded with my parents not to send her away, claiming she would work like a dog if only she could remain in the Gu family. Work like a dog. How eloquently spoken. What she truly desires is to find an opportunity to rise again. Such a person cannot change their nature. My parents evidently sensed my sentiments, and the last vestiges of their compassion vanished. Gu Zhanguo directly summoned a lawyer to negotiate with the couple. Ultimately, the Gu family offered them 1 million as a settlement, with the condition that they must take Lin Wanner and leave Jiang City forever. Lin Wanner was dragged out of the Gu family home by her greedy parents, treated like a lifeless dog. I stood by the window on the 2nd floor, watching as she was shoved into a dilapidated van, disappearing into the distance. My heart was a tumult of emotions. She is somewhat pitiful, having such parents. Her future will likely be grim. Yet, this is all of her own making. If she hadn't been so greedy and malicious, perhaps my parents might have felt nostalgic enough to provide her with some financial support for a comfortable life. Alas, she has single-handedly destroyed everything. My older brother, Gu Chen, approached and gently patted my shoulder. Don't dwell on it. She isn't worth it. I nodded. Indeed, she was not worth it. From that moment forward, Lin Warner ceased to exist in my world. 14. With Lin Warner gone, our family atmosphere became unprecedentedly harmonious. My father was no longer the stern patriarch. He would clumsily serve me food and inquire about my comfort. My mother transformed entirely into my devoted admirer, concocting delicious meals for me daily, taking me shopping for beautiful clothes, eager to present me with the finest things in the world. My older brother, Gu Chen, while still maintaining his icy facade, always looked at me with warmth in his eyes. He would silently resolve all my troubles, providing me with unlimited black cards, allowing me to buy anything I desired. My second brother, Gu Yi, became my exclusive companion, taking me gaming, guiding me in chasing stars, and introducing me to all the culinary delights of Jiang City. I thought this was the pinnacle of happiness, until one day I received a package. The sender was Shen Yuting. Curiously, I opened it to find a collaboration agreement. What on earth? Why would Shen Yuting send me a collaboration agreement? Does he truly wish to partner with me in savoring the world as culinary treasures? As I opened the agreement and comprehended its contents, I found myself utterly dumbfounded. It was a stock transfer agreement. Shen Yuting, astonishingly, intended to gratuitously transfer 10% of the shares of a promising new media company under the Shun Group to me. What on earth is happening? Is a pie falling from the sky? Or does the Shen family have so much money that they're engaging in philanthropy? This 10% stake must be worth several hundred million at the very least. Why would he give this to me? Holding the agreement like a hot potato, I hastened to seek my elder brother. Gu Chen's brow furrowed as he examined the document. What on earth is he planning? I shook my head, indicating my own confusion. Could it be that he has taken a liking to me? Is he trying to woo me with money? Surely not, such an archaic method of courtship. Yet, it seems I might be a little swayed by it. As I spiraled into my thoughts, Gu Chen's phone rang. It was a call from Shen Yuting. Gu Chen put it on speaker. Mr. Gu, has my gift reached your sister? Shen Yuting's voice, laced with amusement, echoed. Shen Yuting, what do you mean by this? Gu Chen's tone turned sharp. Nothing much. I merely wish to befriend Miss Lin Shi. Additionally, this is a prelude to a betrothal gift. Betrothal gift? Both Gu Chen and I exclaimed in unison. A betrothal gift? Goodness. Is this not a bit excessive? We've only met a handful of times, and he is already proposing a betrothal gift. Isn't this pace a tad too swift? I'm not mentally prepared for this yet. On the other end, Shen Yuting chuckled softly, his laughter seemingly penetrating the receiver, tickling my ears. Miss Lin Shi, I have heard your innermost thoughts. Gu Chen. It was not just me. Shen Yuting's voice carried a delightful teasing tone, as if everyone in my family could hear. In an instant, the world around me fell silent. I stood frozen, my mind a complete blank. Gradually, I turned to face my brother, Gu Chen. His expression bore a fissured look I had never witnessed before. I was utterly mortified. I had, in fact, not been performing a solitary monologue within my mind. Rather, I was staging a global concert, and the audience was seated right beside me. My authoritative father, my elegant mother, my stoic elder brother, and my cinematic second brother, all could hear my innermost musings.
No wonder.
No wonder when I expressed a desire for money, my brother provided me with 10 million. No wonder when I lamented about being unambitious, my mother accompanied me in wearing cultural shirts. No wonder when I derided Lin Wana, my second brother came to my defense. No wonder when I claimed the contract was false, my father tore it up on the spot. They did not merely understand me. They could hear me. I covered my face, overwhelmed by a sense of shame. Throughout these 18 years, how many people had I silently criticized? How many whimsical thoughts had I entertained? How many impractical daydreams had I conceived? All of which they were now privy to. Let me die. Right this moment. Let me find a crevice in the earth to hide. No, a crevice is too small. Bury me in the Mariana Trench. Gu Chen, witnessing my despair, displayed an unusual hint of panic. He attempted to console me, but seemed at a loss for words. Shen Yuting, adding fuel to the fire, remarked, Miss Lin Shi. Do not worry, I find your innermost sentiments quite intriguing, especially the part where you mentioned being slightly swayed by my monetary approach to courtship. I shall remember that. Shut up. I screamed internally. Gu Chen abruptly ended the call, his countenance dark as coal. He approached me, awkwardly standing before me. Xiaoxi, please don't be this way, When did you all find out? My voice was barely a whisper. The first day you returned, when Lin Wanner doused you with red wine. Great. I had been a fool from start to finish. I wanted to say nothing further, turning to dash upstairs, locking myself in my room, burying my head under the blanket, and sinking into despair. Soon, my father, mother, and second brother learned of the situation. They took turns knocking on my door. Xiaoxi, open up, your father wants to explain. My dear daughter, it was wrong of me to hide this from you. Little sister, please don't be angry. I'll buy you all the chicken legs in the world, okay? I ignored them all. Stop knocking. I can't face you anymore. Just let me quietly perish. Outside the door, I could hear their collective sighs. My mother, nearly in tears, exclaimed, What shall we do? Will the child contemplate something dire? My father replied gravely, It's all Shin Yuding's fault. Why did he have to tear down this facade? My second brother, filled with righteous indignation, declared, Exactly. I believe he did it intentionally. Elder brother, shall we give him a good thrashing? My elder brother. I huddled under the blanket, listening to their conversation, feeling both anger and amusement. Indeed, this was what it felt like to be cared for by family. Even if I had reached the pinnacle of social embarrassment, their only concern was whether I might contemplate something drastic. I remained in my room, isolating myself for a day and night. During this time, Aunt Wang delivered meals to my door on schedule, but I did not touch a single bite. It wasn't tea that I lacked appetite. Rather, I was too ashamed to emerge. By the following noon, hunger gnawed at me, and I felt as though I might ascend to the heavens. I'm so hungry. I want to eat crayfish, spicy, garlic-flavored and 13 spice, each in a portion, and a large cup of iced cola to accompany it. No sooner had I finished this thought than there came a knock at the door. It was my second brother, Gu Yi, sounding somewhat conciliatory. Xiaoxi, I realize my mistake. I've ordered your favorite crayfish takeout, with 3 flavors, and their iced cola as well. Would you open the door and eat a little? People are iron, and rice is steel. One meal missed is hard to bear. Is this family's mind-reading ability open 24 hours a day? My stomach audibly protested. Ultimately, my appetite triumphed over my shame. I cautiously opened a crack in the door, intending to retrieve the takeout. As I opened the door, I was greeted by the sight of my father, mother, and brother, all standing in a line at the entrance, gazing at me with longing, expressions reminiscent of 3 abandoned golden retrievers. Silently, I accepted the takeout, attempting to shut the door. My mother, quick as a flash, wedged her foot in the door and squeezed inside, enveloping me in a hug. My precious, you've finally agreed to see us. If you had delayed any longer, I would have resorted to banging the door down. My father and brother followed suit, crowding into my modest bedroom, which suddenly felt cramped. I was encircled by the 3 of them, unable to escape. Xiaoxi, it was my fault, my father, a man who had never bowed his head, surprisingly offered an apology. We should not have kept this from you. My elder brother added, I'm sorry, Xiaoxi. We simply didn't know how to broach the subject. My second brother exaggeratedly proclaimed, nearly kneeling before me. Sister, I swear we had no intention of mocking your thoughts. We genuinely found that side of you quite endearing. Endearing? When I was internally cursing and making snide remarks, you all found that endearing. Do you possess a filter that's 800 meters thick? My mother gently caressed my face, saying with concern, Of course, you are endearing. Our Xiaoxi may appear quiet, but she understands everything inside. You have a clear sense of right and wrong and a kind heart. How could such a you not be endearing? She paused before continuing. Initially, we were all taken aback. However, we gradually realized that being able to hear your thoughts is a divine opportunity for us to connect with you. We can understand your needs, know who has wronged you, and protect you better. Indeed, Xiaoxi, my father added, if we hadn't been able to hear your thoughts, we might still be oblivious to Lin Wanning's actions, allowing you to suffer even more. I gazed upon their sincere faces, and the awkwardness within me gradually dissipated. Indeed, had it not been for their capacity to hear me, my social anxiety might have left me still enduring Lin Wanner's bullying, still tiptoeing around them in an effort to please. Perhaps this was not such a negative outcome after all. Well then, Considering your humble attitude of repentance and the prospect of delectable crayfish, I shall temporarily grant you my forgiveness." As soon as I uttered those words, the three of them visibly sighed in relief. My mother, wiping away her tears, exclaimed with joy, "Quick, quick, eat while it's hot. It won't taste as good once it cools." Our family gathered around a small tea table, sharing 3 portions of crayfish. The atmosphere was unprecedentedly warm and inviting. With the knot in my heart untied, our family's dynamic entered an entirely new phase, a stage where I completely abandoned resistance and embraced a laid-back demeanor. After all, they were privy to everything. Why should I continue to feign innocence? Thus, my persona transitioned from a socially anxious flower to a sardonic slacker. At the dining table, my father resumed recounting his entrepreneurial saga. I feigned admiration. "Wow, Dad, you're amazing." But internally I thought, here it comes again, my father's nostalgic reflections. I could recite this story by heart. Could we perhaps hear something new? Like how he wooed my mother back in the day? Midway through his tale, my father suddenly faltered. Clearing his throat, his ears tinged with a hint of red, he awkwardly shifted the topic. "Ahem, let us eat." My mother stifled a laugh beside him. My second brother, Gu Yi, brought home the female lead from his new drama, a popular rising star. The actress regarded me with an air of superiority. "Little Shi, you're still in school, right? Girls should study more, otherwise, when you enter society, you'll be at a disadvantage." I smiled on the surface. "What you say makes sense, sister." Yet internally I scoffed. "Oh, now she is giving me a lesson? You, a product of 9 years of compulsory education, dare to advise me on studying? I still have screenshots of your typos on Weibo saved, you know." The actress's face turned a shade of crimson. My second brother struggled to suppress laughter, his shoulders shaking. My eldest brother, Gu Chen, took me to a business cocktail party. A greasy executive approached with a drink in hand, attempting to ingratiate himself with me. "Miss Gu, you truly are young and accomplished. You should learn from your brother." I nodded politely. "You flatter me." Internally, I thought, "Learn from you? Your intentions to collaborate with my brother while trying to take advantage of me are practically written on your face. Keep your distance." The mix of your cologne and body odor nearly made me faint. The executive's hand froze midair, his expression more grotesque than if he had just consumed something vile. My brother's face remained impassive as he stepped in front of me. "Mr. Wang, my sister isn't feeling well. I'll take her home now." With that, he pulled me away. Outside the venue, I observed my brother's tense profile, a sense of small pride swelling within me. With me around, I'm practically a walking detector for green tea and greasy men. If my brother brings me along for business, he'll surely avoid every pitfall. Gu Chen paused, turned to look at me, his gaze tinged with a hint of exasperation and indulgence. "You," he sighed, and then, against his will, a slight smile graced his lips. 18, naturally. Life is not always smooth sailing. The most significant trouble came from Xin Yuding. Ever since the barrier between us had been broken, he commenced an ardent and targeted pursuit of me. When I expressed a desire for a limited edition cake from a particular shop, alas, that store's strawberry millefeuille sells only 10 each day, making it nearly impossible to acquire. The next day, Xin Yuding had someone deliver 10 of them to me. When I lamented about missing tickets to a foreign band's concert, woe is me. My idol's concert is next month, but tickets sell out in an instant, and scalpers are selling them for 100,000 each. The following day, he presented me with 2 front-row VIP tickets, complete with backstage passes. When I mentioned a rare skin in a game that I admired, that Phoenix Seeking the Phoenix skin is stunning. Too bad it's a limited edition and currently unavailable. The next time I logged in, I discovered not only the Phoenix skin in my account but also a plethora of other limited edition skins I had never seen before. Give her SID. Want to marry Lin Shi. I thought, is this really necessary? That ID is downright embarrassing. Xin Yuding's advances sent my 2 brothers into a state of alarm. They subtly and overtly competed with him. When Xin Yuding sent me cakes, they hired a Michelin star pastry chef to prepare desserts for me daily. When he gifted me concert tickets, they invited the band to our home for a private performance. When he bestowed gaming skins upon me, they attempted to acquire the game company. I firmly intervened. Enough is enough.
Please stop.
If this continues, you'll end up buying the entire planet. Caught in the middle, I felt overwhelmed. One day, Shin Yuding barged into our home, carrying a plethora of obviously expensive gifts, grinning like a sly fox. Uncle, Auntie, I've come to see you. My parents' expressions were decidedly mixed. On one hand, they believed Shin Yuding was the cause of my social demise. On the other hand, they acknowledged that he was handsome, well-bred, capable, and genuinely attentive to me, a promising candidate for a son-in-law. Gu Chun and Gu Yi regarded him as a formidable adversary, sitting on either side of him, casting daggers with their stares. Shin Yuding seemed unperturbed. He pushed a delicately crafted box toward me. Little Shi, this is for you. Upon opening it, I found a car key, an Aston Martin. Here we go again. Once more, he is throwing money at me. This is outrageous. Although I must admit, I am quite taken by it. Shin Yuding's smile deepened. He looked at me with earnest intensity. Little Shi, I realize my approach may seem abrupt, but I am sincere. Turning to my parents, he stated, Uncle, Auntie, please believe me, I will cherish little Shi for a lifetime, ensuring she becomes the happiest woman in the world. He then addressed my two glaring brothers. Dear brothers-in-law, I understand how much you care for little Shi. Rest assured, I will not fall short of what you have given her, and I will provide what you cannot. Finally, his gaze returned to me. Lin Shi, I like you, not for your family background, not for your mind-reading abilities, but simply for who you are. I admire your outward tranquility and the vibrant, interesting soul beneath. I find your teasing of me quite endearing. So, may I have the opportunity to pursue you? The living room fell into a profound silence. Everyone's eyes were fixed on me, awaiting my response. My heart raced, and my cheeks felt as if they could fry an egg. Help! This is too much. Who could withstand such an onslaught? This is unfair. He asked, blatantly transgressing. I looked into his starry eyes, and in a moment of impulsive clarity, I nodded slightly. 19. After I agreed to give Shin Yuding a chance, the atmosphere in our home grew increasingly peculiar. My parents regarded Shin Yuding with the approving gaze of a mother-in-law observing her son-in-law, growing more pleased with each encounter. However, my two brothers viewed him as an unwelcome intruder, a thorn in their side. Thus, our family routine evolved into this. When Shin Yuding invited me to a movie, my brothers insisted on accompanying us, one sitting to my left and the other to my right, effectively shoving Shin Yuding aside. Is this a movie outing or a prisoner escort? I feel like a convict being transported. When he arranged a candlelit dinner, my brothers again insisted on coming along, ordering an extravagant feast and relishing it more than anyone else. Are these two reincarnated gluttons? Can't they show a little discretion? Hadn't I seen Shin Yuding's face turn green? Shin Yuding wished to hold my hand. My elder brother would suddenly hand me a glass of water. My second brother would unexpectedly show me a funny video on his phone. After several such interruptions, Shin Yuding and I had yet to clasp hands. Nevertheless, Shin Yuding maintained his composure, embodying the demeanor of a nonchalant nobleman. Until one day he invited me to the amusement park. My brothers intended to employ their usual tactics again. Finally, Shin Yuding could no longer endure it. He pulled me aside and whispered, Xiaoxi, I need a favor. Whatever you may think in your heart, do not criticize your two brothers. Instead, lavish praise upon me. Is that agreeable? Although I was uncertain of his intentions, I nodded in acquiescence. Thus, within the amusement park, my internal monologue took a sudden turn. On the roller coaster, I exclaimed, Ah, how exhilarating! Yuding is so impressive, remaining unfazed throughout. Unlike my brother, who screams like a banshee. In reality, Gu Yi screamed even louder than I did. In the haunted house, I whimpered, Whoa, how terrifying. Thankfully, Yuding is here to protect me. When he enveloped me in his arms, he looked incredibly dashing. Such a sense of security. Unlike my elder brother, who was almost terrified to the point of wetting himself. In truth, Gu Qin maintained an expressionless face, disdainful of the ghosts for not being sufficiently dedicated. While enjoying cotton candy, I remarked, Yuding feeds me sweet cotton candy. My brother bought me salty ones. Gu Yi protested. That was sea salt flavor. You wouldn't understand. By the end of the day, my two brothers' faces transformed from pale to green, and finally to a deep shade of black, as if ink could drip from their expressions. The ride home was enveloped in an eerie silence. As Shin Yuding escorted me to my doorstep, he suddenly grasped my hand and gently pressed a kiss upon the back of it. Good night, my princess. My cheeks flushed, and I hurried back inside. Upon entering, I found my two brothers stationed in the living room like two imposing guardians. Lin Shi, come here. My elder brother's voice was as frigid as ice shards. Little sister, you've changed. You are no longer the sister who loved us. My second brother's tone was filled with heart-wrenching sorrow. They interrogated me at length before I could finally escape. Alas, is dating more arduous than embarking on a pilgrimage to the West? Despite the arduous journey, my feelings for Shen Yuding steadily blossomed. He, being astute, realized he could not directly confront my two overprotective brothers, so he devised a more roundabout method. He endeared himself to my parents. He accompanied my father for a game of chess, deliberately losing without a trace, which filled my father with a sense of accomplishment. This chess game was played with more dedication than an actor. He could have delivered a checkmate in one move, yet chose to meander around three corners, leading my father to victory. He presented my mother with a complete set of rare antique teaware and spent an entire afternoon discussing the art of tea. Impressive. He even inquired about my mother's hobbies with meticulous attention. His efforts were more diligent than my own for final exams. Gradually, my parents began to advocate on his behalf. Xiao Chun, Xiao Yi, you shouldn't always target Yuding. He is not a bad person. Besides, if you continue this way, what if you scare away Xiao Xi's boyfriend? After winning over my parents, Shen Yuding shifted to a strategy of sweet enticements directed at me. He ceased presenting extravagant gifts that made me feel pressured, instead offering thoughtful little tokens. He crafted a wooden cat sculpture inscribed with my name. He scoured the city to procure the long-discontinued candies I adored as a child. He quietly replaced all the items I had criticized for being impractical with the finest alternatives. Gradually, my heart was filled by him, piece by piece. I realized I had genuinely fallen for him, the man who could decipher my innermost thoughts, tolerate all my little quirks, and was willing to stand by me against the world. On my 21st birthday, Shen Yuding reserved the most romantic riverside restaurant in Jiangqing to celebrate me. My family was present as well. After blowing out the candles, Shen Yuding knelt on one knee and produced a velvet box. Opening it revealed a dazzling diamond ring. Lin Shi. He gazed up at me, his eyes brimming with deep affection, almost drowning me in their intensity. They say to hear your heart's voice is a gift from heaven, but for me, meeting you is the greatest fortune of my life. I no longer wish to merely be your girlfriend. I aspire to become your family, your husband, and the father of your children. I yearn to protect you openly, love you for a lifetime. So, Lin Shi, will you marry me? As the melodious strains of a violin filled the restaurant, I gazed at him, tears blurring my vision. My family looked on with smiles, their eyes radiating blessings. I heard my mother's heart whisper, "Hurry and accept him, my silly daughter." I perceived my father's thoughts. After nurturing this cabbage for over 20 years, it was destined to be devoured by a pig. Fortunately, this pig seems rather decent. My elder brother's thoughts conveyed. Though it irks me, as long as my sister is happy, that suffices. My second brother lamented, "Whoa, my little cotton-padded jacket is about to be lost. Who will play games with me now? But if Shen Yuding dares to mistreat her, I shall be the first to break his legs." And I, gazing at the man kneeling before me, had but one thought. I do. I nodded emphatically and extended my hand toward him. I do. The conclusion. Shen Yuding and I held a grand and lavish wedding. The elite of Jiangqing gathered to witness this momentous occasion. At the ceremony, I donned a wedding gown designed by my elder brother, adorned with countless stars, and walked hand in hand with my father, step by step, towards my groom. When my father entrusted me to Shen Yuding, this typically resolute man had tears welling in his eyes. "You little rascal, I am entrusting you with my entire world. If you dare mistreat her, I will ensure the Shen group goes bankrupt by tomorrow." Shen Yuding firmly grasped my hand, solemnly promising, "Rest assured, Dad." During the exchange of rings, I looked at Shen Yuding, feeling my heart bubble with sweetness. In my past life, I must have saved the galaxy to encounter such a wonderful family and such an extraordinary man in this life. As Shen Yuding leaned down to kiss me, he whispered in a tone only we could hear, "No, it is I who saved the galaxy, allowing me to hear your heart and marry you." After our marriage, I became the quintessential darling of the affluent family. Not only was I cherished by my parents and brothers, but I also gained a husband who adored me beyond measure. My days were more indulgent than those of a salted fish. Sometimes I ponder whether my life would have been different had I not been swapped at birth. Perhaps I would have grown up in an ordinary household, leading a mundane and stable life. Yet, in that scenario, I would not have encountered them, would not have such loving family members and a partner who understands me so profoundly. Therefore, I harbor no regrets. Everything is the best arrangement. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot to mention Lin Wanu's fate. I heard that after being taken away by her dreadful parents, she endured a miserable existence. Unable to withstand her hardships and unwilling to engage in honest labor, she sought a crooked path, only to be deceived and left penniless, burdened with debt. Ultimately, her gambling father sold her to a solitary man in the mountains as a bride. Not long ago, my elder brother received a desperate letter from her, filled with tearful pleas for rescue. As I read that letter, my heart remained unperturbed. Had I known today, why bother with the past? The path is one we choose for ourselves, and we must walk it to the end, even on our knees. I discarded the letter into the shredder.
Outside.
The sun shone brightly. Shin Yuding embraced me from behind, resting his chin atop my head.
What are you thinking about?
I turned around, rose on tiptoe, and placed a gentle kiss upon his lips, thinking, how deeply I adore you. The end of the narrative. Thank you for listening. And until we meet again in the next tale.